Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Hero Voices. Thank you for coming back to listen to Tiffany's story and listening to what's happened to her in shelter. Sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself.
To go back to something before we get into the rest of your story, is that you said when you were first looking for an apartment, you thought you made enough. Thought the same exact thing. Like, granted, I was working at Forever 21 part time, but in my mind, it was so what it is. I never paid rent until about 26, 27. So I think that was the problem. I knew how much my mother's rent was, but I also saw how much she put in. But in my mind, I thought I made enough to go for rent, and because I didn't know how much rent was outside of my house that I lived in, because my mother was technically underpaying rent. Like, the landlady we had was basically family, even though we're not family, we're Caribbean. Everybody, if you be around certain people at a certain time, it's either grandma, uncle. We're very, very tight knit. People who knew me for all my life thought we were related. That's how serious it is. So I never knew rent was in the thousands, and these amounts, and the amount that I was getting for Forever 21 at Times Square was not enough to cover rent money. And then I tried to look for places what had like sharing spaces, which for babies not good. I went to one place. As I walk in, the smoke smacked me in the face. I'm like, I'm confused. Then they had the rooms connected to each other, so like you have to walk the room I had to get to, which is technically the person didn't even leave yet. You have to walk the one room to get to another room to get. It was a whole like a choo-choo train to get to the place you need to go. People can't
Exactly.
walk into your room when they want to. It was really a mess. The credit score I understood. My credit was not the greatest either way, but I just never understood. I feel like in school, these are things they should teach you. Other than, I'm not saying don't teach about certain things, but this should probably be a math class. This is finances. This is something with practical people. I think all people would need, because we're all gonna have to rent something at this like certain point in life. We're all gonna have to get life insurance, or not have to, but health insurance. I think that should be a math class, which is mandatory for you to get when you graduate. That these particular life skills, because I
Yeah,
just don't
definitely a lot
understand.
of financial intelligence.
Yes,
We need more classes about that before you even leave high school.
yes. Because I, I had a whole degree, and I thought my little Forever 21 job could really make it. Like, yep,
You're forever,
your luck.
I thought with my little check, well, I thought, oh, I'll just work a couple of nights overtime.
Right.
And I really didn't calculate, okay, that's a long time for the sitter to be there. And are
Hmm.
you going to find someone to work that many hours for you? And it was just too much.
I want the person who's listening, who's younger, because you're older than I am, and um, I feel like a person in their 20s, if they heard this episode, I want them to know that, like, if you don't understand something, it's okay. Like, we're not into the world, come out our mother's womb and understanding everything about life. It has to be taught to us. And if this is a one way for you to learn about certain things, I'm happy that's done for you. And if you need more information, I'm definitely here for you to talk to at any time. Granted, I don't know everything, but I know much more than I did 10 years ago. So
Oh, yeah.
I hope this like can really help you and give you some insight on how things are. And I hope you don't feel like, oh my God, I'm so dumb because I'm 25, 26, and I don't know that. No, people be 30 is still kind of lost. So don't feel any way about it. If you're not taught something, you don't know, you're just not taught something. It's okay. I don't want you to feel any ways about it. You know, but yeah, continue. Sorry.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just seek out the help or someone that does know about it.
Right.
Definitely.
Like one of our fellows, she always says each one teach one, and that's literally what I hope these podcasts do for people who don't understand the system and don't understand how it is. um if we take if I could touch somebody, teaching them something about the system, or it's how it is to be homeless, even about how to rent and credit scores and things like that. If we go take at least touch one or two people, and then that person touch one or two people, we can cover everybody. Not everybody in the world is going to hear this podcast, but at least what I can teach somebody can get out there to touch the masses.
No,
So
absolutely. Because in high school, I don't think anyone really touched on how important your credit score is going to be.
right,
If you kept it at 700, 800,
right,
how that does open so many doors for you.
it's true.
And just not don't be so nonchalant about your credit.
I wish mine was almost at 7. It was a couple points away at one point,
Okay, there you go.
but not anymore. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. So don't give up. You can get there one day. I promise. But
Mine's fluctuated so much over the years, and
right,
it's just me. It's me being emotional. So I need to just have a year of just rebuilding it.
right,
Mhm.
for sure. So you said after the bus finally came and the guy, he didn't care to help you with your stroller, which is crazy to me. I'm so happy they helped you with a child with a disability. I've heard stories of them not caring if a child has a disability or not.
Oh wait, I didn't tell you why.
Okay.
The guy that I begged in line, he said his nephew was severely autistic.
Oh, got it.
So he
Understood.
dropped what he was doing and he told me, he was like, my nephew has autism and he's very aggressive, and I just hope you get your daughter some help early. He was just really
Oh,
genuine and sincere about it. Because his older nephew, I think he said his nephew's close to being a teenager, is
right,
yeah, they're pretty worried about him. He was very violent um with his family.
right.
So that's the reason why he did it.
See, guys, not everybody empath is horrors. There's some people who have hearts. I feel like a lot of time on the podcast, we talk about how bad the staff is. A lot of them are crap, but a lot of them are just good people. So I just want to highlight that and make sure you know that don't lose all hope. There are good people out there. That's in anywhere, but I feel like we talk about path a lot on this channel.
Oh
That
yeah.
I want to cover that for sure. Yes, that's cool. That's nice. Shout out to you guys, security.
That's right.
Oh man, that's nice though. So after you got on the bus, how was that? Like, did you fall asleep? I would have fell asleep. I'm pretty sure I did. But
No way. I could not sleep. I was just looking out the
really,
window. I just wanted to get her into her room. I
mm,
had a sandwich and some juice, and I was hungry too myself. I just wanted to get in a room so bad and just close the door and
got
just have
it.
a moment.
To breathe.
Yeah.
How was it when you got there with the staff? Because I know, like, to me, it was very overwhelming. I went to 4 different shelters. So
Wow.
going in every time to do intake was a lot, especially when you come in at nighttime. They make you feel some things out. You have to do the rest of it in the morning, depending on what shelter and whose staff is there. How was that, especially with a baby who's been out all day, who does have a disability?
Um, it was stressful. I had this heavy, heavy stroller and the baby. Um, and there were stairs.
Oh no.
It wasn't just like walk-in shelter. There were stairs, and I dragged it up. Um, and me and the bus driver had to wait because the staff that was up front fell asleep.
What?
Yeah,
That makes it on the job.
he was knocked out. This was probably about 2 in the morning at this time.
Oh no.
Yeah, so this was 2 in the morning, and we're just ringing the doorbell, knocking on the door. He is knocked out. We probably stood there for about 10 minutes.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
finally he woke up.
It was a nap. Wow.
He woke up. I don't think he wanted to wait for me to fill out anything. So he gave me he gave me all my papers and a pen. And he goes, "Oh, let me show you to your room. You can bring the papers back in the morning. I know it's late." I was like, "Great."
Right. I know that you know it's late. Sleeping on the job.
I don't know what his reasoning, but he wasn't at that shelter too much longer, so who
Oh,
knows why.
how
But
because he was sleeping. Maybe that's why.
exactly. I'm sure it was more than that. So they led me to my room, and it was kind of chilly in the room. I was like, "Oh, do you have a blanket?" He's like, "No."
Oh wow. They didn't give you no sheets or blankets?
There was a fitted sheet and a sheet on the bed and a pillow. But there was like nothing thick whatsoever.
Well, they don't
So
do thick at the shelter. I'm not gonna lie to you. All of them, I told you I've been to 4 of them. None of them have any thick blankets that I've been to.
wow.
So I've been to 2 in the Bronx, Oh my God, one of them in Bronx was disgusting. And I went to Manhattan and Queens. So it's not even like one borough. And I went to 3 different boroughs, and none of them give you substantial stuff. One of my last shelter I was in for the whole, like, for the year and change, they had an AC slash, I want to say it was a heater too. I believe it was both.
You're very
So
lucky to have
yeah,
AC.
yeah, I was happy about that for sure.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I got to my room. It looked like a little studio. It looked like a very, nothing upscale, nothing luxurious, but it looked like a cute little old studio.
okay.
Um,
What's the name of the
in
shelter?
oh gosh, in Harlem. Oh, Don Family.
Dawn Family. That's
Yeah, Don Family. So it looked like a little old studio in Harlem, the high ceilings, kind of peeled paint look.
cool.
So I was just like I was just happy to be somewhere where I could close the door
Right.
and just eat.
Breathe.
Um breathe exactly. Well, funny story. I have worked for DHS in the past.
Oh wow.
Um 4 shelters for people with mental issues,
Right.
mental disabilities. So the singles, and when you're in a family shelter, you actually get a room by yourself, your own bathroom. That's great. You can't really complain if you have that. But the singles, they had to rough it out in a room with like 10, 15 people all in one room, and you get a trunk.
Right.
That's it. It's like dorm style.
Right.
And I remember the shelter I worked in, they were not allowed to bring food upstairs. We had metal detectors. We were checking all their stuff. And I was just grateful. I was like, I didn't have to go through metal detectors. I could bring food in my room. So I was happy about that.
Right. That's good. Some shelters have metal detectors. Mine did. The last one I went
Oh,
to did.
yours did?
I
Your
did.
family shelter?
Yeah. Some don't,
Wow.
depending on how big the crime rate is there previously. So that's why
Oh,
you put them in. So that's why we had them.
wow. I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know that part.
Yeah. Cops were always getting called. Something's always happening. I remember sometimes being
Wow.
in my room like, this is a lot. I heard this girl from upstairs yelling. The people, apparently, I'm not sure if she's crazy or people really trying to get into her room. I don't know if staff was trying to get in there, but said she'd be screaming like, "I'm not opening the door. Y'all trying to get me." And at first I was like, okay, they're trying to get in the room to get her out. But the other things she was saying sound questionable. So I'm like, I don't know if she's going insane, if she's going to like, is what's going on in her room. So, but they're trying to get her out, and I think it went on for like an hour. Um, I wasn't recording it
Wow.
much then, so I didn't record that. But yeah, and then one time a hallway, I was peeping through the peephole for this one because I'm nosy. One thing I am gonna be is nosy. So they didn't have the. I'm pretty sure they didn't have any guns. So I was like, I could be by the door. It's all right. Somebody was sleeping with somebody's man, and the girl
No
found
way.
out. Oh my God, family shelters have a lot of juice going on because there's too many people in one space who's around too much problems. It's like I feel like the projects. Like I feel like my projects I can't really tell. I'm not really outside with the people, but I feel like that's how projects are
Oh, so
in
the
general.
men were allowed in that shelter. So it was like the woman and the man and the baby, they could all stay in the same
Yes,
room.
yes.
Okay, because my shelter was mainly just women and children. That's it.
You know what it is? Why I probably look like that also. Well, some shelters are women and children, but because the family shelter in general, the system usually is a woman with her child, is usually not that much men with children, and then some of them just have the families with the man, the children, and the kids. Um,
Mhm.
but it's usually when you look at families in shelter in general, it's usually is a woman and a child. So that's why a lot of them are like look like that, even though they're not set up to be that way. Um, but yeah, somebody was like, "You sleep with my man," and then the girl that opened the door at one point, that she opened it, then the tussle happened, and the cops came. I was like, "Ooh, this is a lot of stuff happening tonight." But
Wow.
yeah, so they
Fighting
have
in
to
the
have those
shelter.
things. Yeah, that's why. And I tell people in my videos when I do YouTube, I tell people to keep your head down, don't talk to nobody, um, because you can look at somebody the wrong way. It's like jail. It's literally what jail is. Like you looking at somebody the wrong way, and you don't be nothing by it, and it's just like it's taken out, or you think this person is free. I feel like in the family shelter probably they shouldn't be free because they're in a family shelter, but and you with somebody, man, it's just like a whole thing. So Yeah. You'd be very surprised what could happen in a family shelter. A lot of things happen. I know somebody had died on my floor, but it happened before I left, before I got there.
Oh wow.
So I'm not sure if they died in their sleep or somebody took them out. But anything is possible. But I know, yeah.
What borough was the shelter in that you're talking about?
Queens, by LaGuardia. It's called the Landing.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
an old
know. I
hotel.
thought family shelters were all quiet and
Wow. They have different types of family shelters, different tiers of family shelters.
Yeah, I see different tiers, definitely.
Mine didn't even have a stove, but now they do. So I'm happy for the people who live there now. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I had a little fridge and a microwave.
Oh no.
That got annoying.
It does.
Yeah. Definitely. I think of a woman with a child, you need a little kitchenette or something, as a little stove, a little stove top, something. But as far as issues, not too much happened while I was there. Maybe about 3 instances happened over the year that I remember. I kind of missed all the drama. Like the drama would happen when I would leave. Like like one day I left out the door and I came back and the door was shattered.
What?
And I said to the staff, I was like, did somebody punch the door? And he said, yep. I was like, oh, I missed it.
I think when you're in shelter, you miss a lot of the foolishness. People who don't have a job and they stay behind, they are usually people who have the extra spiciness going on because they don't have nothing else to do other than stay at the building and have problems. They make their own, telenovela, like, because they have nothing else to do. No offense to people who are not working and in the shelter, but a lot of people, that's who the drama is usually happening. People who are stuck there all day, to be honest.
Yeah, because I was dropping my daughter off to her program, and I came back and the door was just a mess. I'm like, I had a feeling. I was like, somebody punched the door, and I was right.
So when you finally met your, I would say, intake specialist and housing specialist, not all shelters have them, but did you have those? How did they help you with housing and things like that?
When I met my coordinator, my caseworker, how did she help me? Well, as soon as I got there, she just kind of got me up and running as far as, I need this from you, I need that from you, I need this, and that. So it's like we just kind of got up and running as far as, okay, you need this medical form, you need these IDs, just kind of giving her everything she needed.
Right.
The big help came when I became eligible. She was like, okay, you're eligible now. Let's try this, let's try that. And then when I got my voucher is when she was like, okay, let's get you out of here. She's like, I need you looking for things. I'm going to send you out for things. She would, give me papers like, okay, look at this apartment, go look at this apartment. And I've seen so many apartments. Some apartments should not be declared 1 bedrooms. I think lots of landlords are trying to be sneaky. It's a lot of studios out there. They're trying to pass off as a 1 bedroom. But anyway, she really did try her best, and I was just on the list for a lot of things. And my caseworker actually ended up switching midway because she went to work somewhere else. And then shortly after that, I got sent out to the Bronx.
Okay. So you only had 1 worker to do all that, or it's like 2 workers?
I actually I've been through 3 caseworkers. The first one, she was with me the longest. She was strict, but I found out she was strict because she really wanted to get you out of there. She didn't want you to get comfortable.
Right.
She was like, I don't want people to like, she even said it. She was like, I don't want you to like me. I want you to want to get out of here and not get comfortable. I was like, you know what? I can respect that. So, and then after her, I had 1 more, and then I got switched to the last one. And then that's the 3rd one. That's when everything got accepted, and I got a paper to, hey, come sign your lease all the way out in Queens. I was like, okay, I'm coming.
Man, it sounds like to me that your intake person, your caseworker was doing work for 2 people. Because they do it seem like caseworker work and also housing specialist work.
You know, that's I completely agree with that. Um, I think they need more. This process needs. They definitely need more help and more options. There needs to be a list of when you get your voucher. As soon as you get your voucher, there should be a list of places where you can go. These landlords, you know, will happily take your voucher. Go see them. But I know they're not supposed to discriminate, but they do.
Right.
They just flat out do. I could just feel it. I would speak to realtors on the phone. I spoke to so many, and as soon as they said, "Oh, what do you do? Blah blah blah. Your income. Blah." Oh, I have a voucher that'll cover all of the rents, all of it. And I swear they would kind of rush off the phone. You would never hear from them again.
Wow. I'm not surprised. That's what they do. So it makes sense.
So many. I've been through. I kind of got used to it, so I did get a thick skin about being rejected by realtors. I contacted so many. I can't even keep count. But anyway, out of all of that bunch, maybe only two called me back and said, oh, my landlord. Yeah, he actually wants somebody with a voucher. He's cool with it. So I was like, wow. But so pretty much looking for a landlord that likes it, that will accept it, is like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Right.
And that's pretty much what it is. But everything that I looked for on my own didn't work out. DHS pretty much, sent me out to find something that ended up working. So I guess DHS would have to get more inventory. It's just more inventory is needed, I guess, for girls to pick through.
Right. The crazy thing to me is that as you said, landlords sometimes just take things and want to do whatever they want to do with the voucher. But it was just interesting that a lot of landlords don't take the voucher right away and they don't like it. It's against the law to say, I don't want to take vouchers, but they'll just ghost you or just like, okay, next time, and they'll never call you back. That's what ghosting is.
Right.
But the reason why is because honestly, we have to blame the city. You have to blame the person who needs to be blamed for it. It's the city. The city doesn't pay their rent on time. They don't pay none of their rent on time. They don't pay HRA, their stuff to do things on time. They don't pay landlords on time. They don't pay daycares on time. And I feel like a lot of episodes I'm talking to people about the city just not paying things on time. And because they're not paying things on time, people don't want to work with them. Because it's not fair for a landlord to have a person be in an apartment for 8-9 months and only got 4 months of rent. So when something's broken in an apartment, you want them to, especially if it's a smaller landlord. I feel like it's a bigger building, they could probably wait a little 4 months. Even though I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but you can afford it more than a mom and pop who has only 1 or 2 homes to rent out, But if mom and pop have is missing 4 months of rent, and this is like their side income, because they're older in age and they can't work a 9 to 5 like anybody else, or even do a side hustle because they don't have the computer skills or something like that. I'm not saying all mom and pops are doing side hustles. I'm just saying, for example, right? They need to pay people on time. So if something does break in the house, if there's a flood, or if something does happen, people have the money that they was given to pay for these like upgrades or anything what needs to be done in the house. If you go 4 or 5 months, you have, I don't know how it is for mortgages. I didn't get to that level in life yet. I want to though. But I don't know how long you can go with your mortgage before they want to say, oh, you're taking this property back. It might be a while, but if you have 3 or 4 houses and City Fest had not paid for none of them, and you still live in one of those houses. So if you have 3, 4 houses, and your house is like the 6th house, but you're trying to use that rent, the money that they get from the rent, for also paying your mortgage for your house, everybody gonna be in the street because you can afford to live like there's no way. Like they gotta really think about it. They be upset if people have them evicted, but the reason why they're getting evicted is because you, the city, did not pay your rent part of the money, and people could be paying their part of their rent too, because like CFF is like you pay one and the people pay, so it's like the city and yourself, right? But if I'm paying my half and it's still not enough because the city is still owe the money, that's also a problem. So I think we need to put that in mind. Some landlords are, they're happy to do it because they have bigger spaces. Some landlords are not so much because they can't afford it. Some people are they're just money hungry and they're like, no, I can't do it. So also,
I did have a realtor tell me, her landlord, she was like, look, honey, I'm gonna be honest with you. He doesn't like vouchers. And I was like, why? I was like, isn't it guaranteed money? I don't understand. And she was like, listen, sometimes vouchers don't pay, sometimes vouchers just stop. She was like, it would look better on your application if you made enough to cover the voucher, even though you don't have to pay.
Right.
She was like, because what if the voucher stops? Can you pay on your own? I was like, wow.
That's true. That's another thing we don't talk about also.
So thank you for coming to the end of this. We're gonna get a little bit more into a little bit of vouchers in the next one, so come and check it out. Hope to see you next time. Hope you comment on the last podcast about if you could change one thing in the shelter system. If you wanna do that now, you can. Go on Twitter and go check us out and write in our comment section. Bye.